Hey guys, Ron here. Welcome to another episode of Cook with Ron. This video is a little different. Again, it's not very different. It's still about Blackstone, but I want to go into some of the pros and cons of the 22-inch adventure ready Blackstone. This model is the one without the folding legs, so please keep that in mind. When I got it, I was primarily not going to be transporting it anywhere, so it's just basically going to stay stationary in my back patio, so I didn't need it to have the folding legs. But if it's important to some folks for it to be transportable, then I suggest to splurge and get the portable model. I don't know why they call this one adventure ready. It's not very portable, but it works for my purpose. The one with the folding legs, I believe at the time I was purchasing, was like $50 more or $70 more. I forget exactly. This one at the time I bought it was like right around $100, which is like, in my opinion, was crazy cheap. It was a great deal. I don't know how much they're going for now, but just keep in mind that if you need the folding legs, it will cost a little bit more money. Now, I've had it for, I would say, over a year now, and I've used it quite a bit. And it's a great piece of equipment. I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very good. It cooks some great meals on it. I've done burgers, hot dogs, steaks, fish. I've done breakfast items. I haven't posted videos, and my apologies for that. And I will get to that eventually. But I just want to post a quick one about maybe some of the limitations that maybe I should have thought about before I purchased it. So let's just go right into it. One, obviously, and this is probably the most obvious to you guys, is if you see my videos, a lot of times you'll see a lot of stuff prepped, and you'll see a lot of things that I sometimes cook at the same time. In that regard, this one has the main limitation is the surface area of the flat top. It's a little bit on the small side compared to, like, let's say, obviously the 36-inch model, which is like almost maybe more than double the surface area. But it's good if you're cooking for maybe 2 or 3 people. You can maybe squeeze it to 4. I have 2 little kids, so we're a family of 4, and for our purposes, it's fine. But as the kids get older, my 8-year-old is getting hungrier, and he's eating more food. He could eat 2 burgers on his own now. So, and I'm sure my 2.5-year-old will get there. And now my wife is pregnant, so we have a third coming. So we'll be a family of 5 soon, and eventually, and it's a girl. So eventually, she'll be wanting her own hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that. So keep in mind the audience that you're going to be cooking for. If you're a larger family, I would splurge for the larger models, the 28-inch, the 36-inch, what have you. If you're a smaller couple, smaller family, like a young couple, or your kids have moved out and you just want something for yourselves, then the 22-inch probably would work fine. If you entertain a lot, if you always cook for a lot of people, or if you cook like me, whereas I cook for not just for that day, but I'll cook enough so I have leftovers for the next day. So in that sense, you also have to consider the size of your griddle. So let's get into some of the more specific aspects of the heating element here. So this is a 2-burner model, and it does have consistent heat for the most part. Now I'll tell you why. The front edge of this gets nowhere near as hot as this middle section right here. So if you want to sear burgers, let's say you want to stack a bunch of burgers. I have a video where I do it's like 9 burgers, right? So if you notice, even in that video, you might notice that the burgers that were up on the edges here and down here were not cooking at the same rate as the burgers that were like in this middle section right here. So this section, I would say from here to here, if I'll zoom out a little bit, from this section to about right there, that rectangle is like literally the hottest part of the grill. And it's substantially hotter than this front portion of the grill, and it's a bit harder, not substantially, but a bit hotter than this back end. And then these sides, the heat also dissipates a little bit too. So if you want to sear, and if you're doing 6-7 steaks or whatever, you might have to do it in batches if you want to just focus on this middle section here. Okay, so it's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you're cooking for a lot of people and you have like a 36-inch model, right? You don't have to worry about that as much because you could all hit them at the same time in one shot and be done with it, right? But the 22-inch, you have to be a little bit careful. You might have to do your food in batches, or you just have to, if you're going to do it into the entire griddle, you have to keep in mind where your hot spots and cold spots are. It becomes a little bit more burdensome on the chef or cook when they're making the food that you have to be mindful of those spots. So if you're in a rush, right, and you have a lot of people waiting for their food, and everyone's very specific. Oh, I want double cheese with 2 slices of cheese. I want 1 slice of cheese. I want 1 single hamburger. I want a double hamburger. And everybody has a different. And you're going crazy trying to figure out. You know, you're gonna have mistakes. You're gonna have maybe not as good of a sear on some of the burgers as the others, because it becomes a little bit. You know, it gets complicated sometimes when you're cooking. So keep in mind, I've always noticed people always say, "I wish I would have gone bigger," right? Nobody ever says, "Oh, you know, I should have gotten the 22-inch model instead of 36." Everyone who always gets the 28s and the 36s, they'll always say, "Oh, you know," I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, I wish I got the 22." They always say, if they got the 28, they'll say, some of them will say, "I wish I got the 36," and just splurge the extra $100 or whatever it is to get the 36. And the ones that got the 36 will never say, "I wish I got the 28 or the 22," unless it's an air fryer combo kind of thing where, you know, they prefer one of those contraptions versus more surface area in the griddle. So that's one of the main things. The other main thing is prep area. So you have that one shelf on the side here. The other models, the 28s and 36s, have 2 shelves on each side. This one has a handle on this side. It's just for transportability. You can move around a little bit easier. Again, for my purposes, this thing stays on the patio. It never really moves, unless when I have to clean down here some of the grease and whatever that gets on the deck. So something to keep in mind again, if you need a lot of prep space, go with the bigger model. You'll be happier with it. You know, I have a table here, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I have shelves on my grill that I use, right? So that's not as big of a deal. So prep space for me wasn't as big of a deal. But hey, if you're going to go with the bigger model, I mean, you know, having a little bit extra prep space is always, you know, a positive, right? And the last thing I want to go is, these are not Pro Series or anything like that. You know, when you go with the Pro Series, you get the cabinets in the bottom. You can put your utensils in there, whatever stuff that you need whenever you're cooking, right? It's just convenient to have it right there. For my purposes, again, it wasn't that big of a deal. My kitchen's literally like, I can just run in and get stuff. And usually I prep my stuff out here on this table and I have everything ready for me anyway. So that wasn't that big of a deal for me. But if it is important for some of you folks and you want everything to be in one spot, the convenience factor of having it here obviously is also a plus. And that's a deficiency of this model. So just some things to keep in mind if you're in the market for a 22-inch Blackstone. Really think about what your purposes are going to be, how many people you're going to be cooking for. Do you cook a lot in one shot so you have leftovers the next day? These are something you always have to think about when you're selecting this model. It's a great piece of equipment. It makes fantastic food. I'm never going to say anything negative about it by any means. I've had many meals on this thing that was amazing, right? But that's the only thing, is I just wish I got the bigger model. I don't even care much for the shelves. I wish I had a bigger flat top, so that way I can, you know, don't mind my badge here. My wife is actually in the hospital. She gave birth yesterday. So we are actually officially a family of 5. So, you know, if you want to shoot her a congratulations too in the comments, I think she'd appreciate that. So, again, I'm going to do another video, maybe a comparison video, because I've already purchased a Lowe's 36-inch culinary series. I got that on special. It came assembled and everything from Lowe's, and it was like $449, which is I consider that pretty good. And we'll do maybe a comparison video, and then I'll do a seasoning video on that, and then we'll get into the whole nuts and bolts of that model Blackstone as well. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I always appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up, and you know, I'll put more content up. Hopefully we can start cooking on my 36-inch soon, and maybe we'll do a couple more here before I maybe give this guy away to somebody that's in need of it. So but again, yeah, if you like the video, please by all means like, subscribe, share with other folks if you found it interesting, or if they might be in the market for a Blackstone, they might find some of this information useful. So yeah, it'll help out the channel, and we always appreciate all our subscribers, all our viewers. We're very grateful for where the channel has gotten from when we started. So thanks again. Hats off to you guys. We appreciate all of you guys. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.